Once upon a time, I walked up to a crowd of more than just a few. There was a poet and a rapper debating the difference between the two. The rapper, tall and slim, with a cynical smirk upon his face, bent down and pulled his golden microphone from its case. He cleared his throat and proceeded to explain, while the crowd listened closely, as they had much insight to gain.
I like to start by saying 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, my good man, would you like to know the difference between me and you? You see, my lyrical style is wild, especially when I freestyle. When I'm done, the crowd often chants in waves. I might be wrong, but I think it's because my style is what they crave. You often speak rhetoric, and my appeal is more practical. You claim omniscience, and my just more tactical. You are weak, and your time is past. You talk me to death, but are still going nowhere fast. We both communicate expression and inspire thought to those who choose to listen. Now I have proven my skills. Do you wish to partake on this lyrical mission? So tell me, Mr. Poet Man, from your point of view, what is the difference between me and you? However, be very aware that now is not the time for foolish pride, but if you are worthy for praise, then I will quietly step aside.
Quite anxious to give his rebuttal, by now the poet was quite peeved. The crowd was chanting, "Hey" and "Ho," something the poet had never achieved. The rapper then bowed and laid the microphone in its case, as he was certain his lyrical prowess had put the poet in his place.
Wait, I'd like to answer the question put before me. And when I have spoken, everyone across the land will see. May I have your attention while I address this matter? And I'd like to begin before the rapper's head gets any fatter.
There was a snickering amongst the crowd, and I confess I found myself to be quite amused, although the rapper, his victory short-lived, looked as if he was confused. By now it was clear the poet was about to stake his claim. This was indeed the best part of this lyrical cat-and-mouse game.
What is the difference between you and myself is to compare a great wizard to one of his elves. I agree that we're not totally opposite in our lyrical intentions. However, there are just a few things that I'd like to mention. You speak your words for sport and to attain material wealth. So although you may appear to live well, you really have little knowledge of self. Young man, I do not speak rhetorical nonsense, contrary to your personal belief. Perhaps I'm simply on one level and you're 4 or 5 beneath. True, the crowd applauds as you've entertained them for now. But they'll leave as ignorant as they have come, and you have the gall to take a bow. So for the simple fact that beyond the surface your intellect is brief at best, before my temper grows short, I suggest that you be gone now, pets. As you should be well aware, knowledge is all around for one and all to see. We compile our pieces and recite them when we speak. The difference, my good fellow, is that you speak to open ears and I to open minds. My followers grow stronger, and you're the blind leading the blind. Do you see what I'm saying? Find out who you are before boasting to your peers. If you did not hear me the first time, it's because you're wet behind the ears. In the future, I suggest you find yourself and give your ears a chance to dry. That's all for now. You may go. Fly. Fly, fly.
A blanket of silence spread through the crowd as they stood in disbelief and shock. They wanted him to continue, and like birds around him began to flock. The crowd could not quite understand what the poet had said, but still they wanted more. It seemed as if all those whose minds were adrift were suddenly coming ashore. As I left the stage and started on my journey down the road toward the sun, it was quite obvious
The poet's seed had been planted, and his deed here was done.